So today I'm going to talk to you about identifying your man's fight type. Because if you are fighting and it's causing your relationship to erode, and it will, you really can be helped by identifying the fight type of your man and then dealing with it accordingly. So let's get into it. Before we do, I'm Coach Paula Grooms, a dating and relationship coach, licensed social worker, and author of the book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. I hope you will get that book and read it, refer to it, find out if your man is a consumer or a buyer, meaning is he going to go the distance, fighting or not, but to a great degree. If you are doing a lot of fighting and you want commitment, we really have to nip this in the bud. And if that's impossible because of your man, we have to be the one that is going to show him, I can handle you, I can handle what's going on, and you are safe, secure, and I'm not going anywhere. I am going to help you, and without him knowing, you are going to heal him through this and really help your relationship, heal your relationship, and make it go the distance. All right, so let's get into it. There are, in my book, two types of fighting for men, where men are concerned. And it's very, very simple. And I really thought about this and wanted to boil it down into these two types so that you could most easily get it, especially when you're tweaked, when you're emotional, when you're in it. You want to be thinking about this, and it's easy to do. Okay, so the first type is the boy. When he's fighting and he's being a little boy. This is very simple to identify, filled with emotional words and accusations, but more in a non-threatening way, more of an emotional, I'm hurt way. I'm going to, like, for example, you say something which is not going to be good if you do, but if you did, for example, if you said, well, you're acting like a jerk, he would come back and say something like a little boy would say, no, you're acting like a jerk. That kind of thing. I found your remarks to be really insensitive. You're the insensitive one. That kind of thing. That's more in the little boy defensive mode. Juxtapose that against a bully. A bully is the second type. And this is where he's going to really hit hard, hit below the belt, be more aggressive in the fight, less reactive, more aggressive. And there's many ways bullying can take form, but if he's really pounding at you verbally, right, because we never ever take any kind of physical abuse whatsoever, it's just get up, get out, and then you get help. So if it's, of course, verbalizing, because that's what we're talking about when we're talking about fights, and how you're going to deal with both types, okay? So when he is a boy, this is difficult because he's in an emotional state, and when we have gotten our emotions up, it's very difficult to kind of calm them down. But you can make two choices here. Now, there's always one choice, whether it's a boy or a bully, is to be very confident in your knowing that leaving him alone for a while, and you gathering your wits about you so that you don't say anything that can't be taken back. Words have power, and we have to be very careful. Believe it or not, men are super sensitive to our words. And we, in our emotional states, because we are emotional beings, can just spew out words. And we think, well, he's going to understand because I was emotional, I was fighting. Well, you are actually better at, if he has said something really that's hurt you, to actually bounce back from that than he is. So you have to be very careful of your words. So if you're someone who can't handle reining in their words and are going to say things that are going to be hurtful, not take ownership of your feelings, meaning I am, and you actually spewed onto you are, you're going to need to really think about using the strategy of, I'm afraid I'm going to say something here that I'll regret later because I'm emotional. So I'm going to just leave for a while. It's not that I don't care, but I think that it's best if we just separate for a while. I'm going to go in the other room. Or, God forbid, you can't get out of, some environment that you're in. People found this, during COVID a lot. And so they were not able to escape each other. But even if it's just in another room, or, you know what, I'm going to stick my headphones on and I'm going to listen to something now because I don't want to say anything that is going to hurt us. I don't want to hurt you. I don't want to hurt us. I don't want to say anything that's going to be harmful to us. So you can always do that, whether he's in the bully or the boy. If he's in the bully state, then you really must do that. Because think of it, the difference between a little boy and a bully and how we tackle both. And we say this to children. What do we do to bullies? We actually stand up to them. And it's not meeting the bully with the same intensity, the same emotion, the same aggressiveness, the same anger, any of that. No. To a bully, we just say, this is not good, or this is inappropriate. I am not going to stay here for this. That's it. And you leave. And then, eventually, he will calm down, and then you can say what needs to be said. With the little boy, if you know the history at all, say he has some abandonment issues, okay? And that could be from mother or father. Any childhood wounding, abandonment feelings can come from. So we can stay present with the little boy, mostly just let him spew. And just stay there, listen, be present, and really hold in your words like you're holding space for him while he's getting things out. Then when you see him coming down from it, and many times you won't, because again, he's being the boy in reaction to what you're saying, just like I said. So if you said something like, well, you're being a jerk, no, you're being a jerk, and you let him come down from that, right? And then say something like, okay, we've said things now, what are we going to do to fix it? That's always a good one. What are we going to do now to fix it? There's always, let's just take a break, think about things, and come back to this in a few hours, a few days, whatever you think is necessary. Knowing for you that you are going to come back to it and he's not going to leave, and you are going to be able to address this with sound minds and cool heads, warm hearts, then you will feel better. Then you say, how about we take some time and let's maybe write some things out and come at this with cool heads and calmness, and certainly our warm hearts. Because I know one thing above all, that we are here together because we have mutual positive regard. That's the foundation of any relationship, is mutual positive regard. And so with that, let's come back to it. Now, if he's a boy, he's going to say, oh, look at you with your mutual positive regard. Like how you think you're better than I am, or something like that. Again, depending on what level of boy he is, right? If he's a really young boy, he may do something like that. And you say, Okay, there, you're going to just be like the solid, all-knowing, divine feminine mother that you are, right? Because we all inside us, whether we've actually given birth to children or not, we have that inner mother inside of us and can heal. And we just say, okay, I'm going to disregard that because I know who you are. And let's come back to this. Again, let's come back to this when we have cooler heads and more in our minds rather than in our emotions. And we'll come back to this in a couple of days. Or, if he's a bully, again, you don't deal with any of that. You just say, I'm not accepting this. I'm feeling bullied. That's not appropriate. So I'm leaving, and you can get back to me when you've come down. And then you do the hard work. Because it's in us as females to want to fix things in that moment. And because of my gender gap that you know that I talk about here all the time, we women relate via verbalization. Men relate via action. So we are more readily accessible to verbalization many times, and we want to fix it with talking through things. And many times that just doesn't work for a man. It just doesn't, because he doesn't access his feelings as quickly as you do, and so he feels a little bit behind the 8 ball sometimes in a verbal fight. So this is why he reverts to the boy or the bully. So, I hope I've given you some parameters and what to do. Again, bully, it's very, very simple. Say something with a firm, not attacking, not coming at him with the same anger, just firm. I'm feeling bullied here. You're being a bully, and I'm going to leave now, and you can calm down, and we will revisit this later. That's it, and you leave. Then you've got to stay in that knowing you will be coming together, and when he is calm and when time is good for this. Time doesn't necessarily heal all wounds, but it certainly evens things out, calms things down, and brings them to a level that then can be handled more rationally. Okay? So that's with the bully. And with the boy, you don't want him to feel abandoned, so you can stay, but stop talking. Let him just burn out, so to speak. And many times, his emotions will take over, and then you can come at things rationally. So I'm going to have several other videos here about what to do with a man who is a flighter rather than a fighter. Okay? And that's its own skill set, so to speak, handling that. So I hope this was helpful today in figuring out one other tip before I end this video, that many times within one argument or fight, you will sometimes get a hint of both. He will be back and forth between bully and boy, bully and boy, bully and boy. So you want to show him, depending upon the level of bully, right? And that's attacking in terms of really hitting below the belt, using hyperbole, like you always, never, and really ugly things that seem to be outside of who you know him to be. But anytime that happens, you must show, even if it's just a little bit and he's vacillating between boy and bully, you must show, I will not take that. And you're leaving with that firm stance of, I will not accept this. Will show him that doing it again is not going to work. Okay, so take these tips, work with them. If you need more assistance and you're in a situation like, should I stay or should I go? Is this normative, what I'm dealing with this level of fighting, arguing? Can my relationship sustain this? Should I be thinking about something else? Should I even suggest counseling? I'm going to do another video on that because that's its own thing. And before you do that, I hope you will watch a video on that I'm going to do. It's a tough call, and I only recommend it under certain circumstances. So, again, hope this was helpful today. If you need more help, connect with me at CoachPaulagrooms.com, and you can be on my podcast. We can talk about this. I always have a way that you can talk to me, whether you can afford to work with me or not. You can talk to me on the podcast and get my advice. Also, connect with me on Instagram and on Facebook, because I do lives there, and you can be asking me questions there as well. Also, you can put comments down below. I try to get back to all of them, and in some ways, depending on what it is, I can be helpful right then and there, and I will always want to do that for you whenever possible. So, think about all these things. Really watch this again and again, because repetition is important. Watch the next video on if you are dealing with a flight risk guy in terms of arguments and fighting, and I will talk to you next time. I trust you got a lot of good information from today's video, and I enjoy bringing you content that is valuable for success in your romantic life. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the alert bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And if you want more on any of the content you see here, you can go to my book, Why Won't He Commit? How a Man Decides to Make You the One. You can order it at any fine retailer where you get your books. And if you want more on me or any of my programs, my podcast, go to CoachPaulagrooms.com, and we could be talking soon.